Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome to episode 25 of Comic Art Live. And it's my pleasure to have our usual crew here this evening. Let me bring these gentlemen in. First is Glenn, Mike, and my buddy Will. How's everybody doing this evening? 25.
25.
Who would have thought?
25?
So,
45.
Oh, my God. That was not the intro we were expecting, Mike.
25, Mike.
25.
25 is awesome.
So, there was a lot of buzz on the internet this weekend, right? I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I was getting lots of personal texts and everything about the auction that Heritage had, which we were going to be talking about in a bit. I'm sure you guys saw it too. A lot of people were very surprised at a lot of the results. A lot of heat coming off.
Yeah.
A
lot of people.
I'm thinking Heritage is doing so well that I'm going to be changing panel page art to Schmeritage 2.0. So it's. I hope they don't sue me or anything. But Schmeritage 2.0 is going to be the new website that sells things for hot prices.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was thinking high
prices.
Well, a lot of people were thinking because they had so few lots. I mean, this is the lowest amount of platinum items, lowest amount of Friday items, lowest amount of Saturday items, and yet I was flabbergasted at what prices went for.
It's called strategic placement. I mean, There were 23. Correct me if I'm wrong. 23 original art items for platinum. I want to call it platinum night, but the platinum session.
Yeah.
And maybe around 100 and some, almost 200 on the Friday session.
Yeah, I think they had 108. Something 108. Like that on Friday.
Okay.
I think they had 108 on Friday.
I think what happened was Heritage took like 100 comic art collectors on a retreat for 20 days or something before the auction, and didn't let them buy a thing for 20 days, and then let them in the room the day of the auction. And
I mean, that's what it felt like in a way. I was looking at it as, like you guys said, there weren't that many platinum pieces. So I had suggested earlier that was what was going to drive up the price, since there isn't the super big ticket pieces to go after. That there's a little extra money going around on the really nice pieces or the mid-tier pieces, and that would be what we might see. And for whatever reason, we definitely saw that. And there haven't really been any big auctions around it too. The Comic Link one had ended. Their last one was 3.5 weeks before that, and there's no real big auction in the foreseeable future, right? I mean, even Comic Connects was at the beginning of December. So they had a really nice buffer of time between any other major competition. And like you said, there were fewer lots. I mean, the overall sales price for this auction for comic art was just over $4 million, whereas the prior signature auction reached over $6 million with about the same number of pieces. So it just shows you the difference between, the value of the pieces from one signature auction to the next. So, and the timing probably helped them out immeasurably. I don't think there was a desert island that they sequestered.
That happened. Well, I'll tell you, from my perspective, I felt like I just finished paying for November when I was ready to bid on January. So,
well, you bid a little heavier in November, I think. So that might have been, yeah. No, listen, in all seriousness, I think what it is, and I've heard very quiet rumors of this, but Heritage has access to a handful of buyers that many of us as dealers or even other collectors do not. People that maybe they're the top echelon of a company or even at the higher echelons of government, and these are people that they're not spending a lot of time sort of networking, and they just go right to an auction, Heritage, and that's where they get busy, and that's where they pick up pieces from.
Well, that's why people must have a Dr. Strange collection.
That's true, and
a lot of Dr. Strange art.
There was one thing.
Doctor Strange and Conan are two characters that still surprise me that they continue to hold and escalate in value. With the amount of pieces that have come out for each of them over the last 2 or 3 years.
Well, as Doctor Strange, you can sort of understand because, there is a new movie coming, but Conan feels like a property that hasn't been affected by sci-fi films in quite the. I mean, the last Conan movie was not a fan favorite, and yeah,
Aquaman played Conan, right?
that's right.
Or rather,
I didn't even see that episode.
Did he really? I didn't know that.
I think it was Conan played Aquaman, but yeah. I
Jason
played the cow. You know, get GOT.
Now, hey, I want to bring up this piece that we had talked about before the show, and this ties to what Will said, was that I believe that the PR piece that Heritage put out was that the buyer of this particular book was a first-time comic book auction bidder and buyer. And it set the record, it's at 2.2 million. And the reason I had actually pulled it was because I wanted to kind of use this as a point of reference to show everybody that, this one comic book sold for more than half of all of the 4 million in original art sales for that week. So we're all kind of wondering and maybe mildly panicking about the prices that we're seeing today. But I think that sales like this show us that, if comics are, that are mass produced and are out there making sales like in this region, that art prices have a lot of room for growth. So we might, we should really just be prepared for higher prices in art when comics can realize prices like these as well.
This is where you cue the dramatic music, Bill. Dun, dun, dun.
Yes, we should. But that's my feeling, is that, I look at it and I really do feel that.
So you're not overpaying today, you're underpaying for tomorrow.
Yeah, that should keep everybody really nervous.
What's funny? That's exactly how I used to think back in the 90s. Seriously. Right. I used to just think this is, what's funny is this guy.
Oh, no, Will. No, Will. Please tell me your mouth is still open, Will. Will, please tell me your mouth is still open.
I know you had something good to say.
I know. It was a nugget of information we all wanted to hear. Everybody's on the edge of their seat.
It was pretty much about the 90s, I think.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, while Will is still trying to get that breath, let me tell my, with all the art going high, I have to say, my buddy Albert Moy was a little upset at me. No, you could keep all of us on there. I want to see your faces. Okay. My buddy Albert Moy was a little upset at me last show. He said I sort of took a dig at him. So I want everybody here to know right here and now that me and Albert have a great relationship. I mean, a great relationship. So much that I really, really like Albert Moy. Okay, I want everybody to know that. Such that I was even thinking, with the prices of art getting so high, Will's locked up again, I think. Anyway, with art prices getting so high, I was thinking that, if Albert decided he didn't want to be married, I like Albert so much that I was thinking that maybe me and him could literally be a power couple in this hobby. And, we can compete with Heritage, call ourselves Bam Bam Original Art, Berkey Albert Moy, Berkey Albert Moy. I just think we'd be a really power couple if Albert,
Are you guys thinking about getting hitched?
Yeah, I'm sort of thinking about it. If Albert wants to leave his wife, I think that might be a good play in this hobby.
It's going to be like a domestic partnership all the way?
I mean, why not? With his negotiating skills and my likability, I think we'd be a perfect team up, and we'd be called Bam Bam Original Art. What do you think?
I'm very concerned about the sleeping arrangements.
Oh no, we could have separate beds. That's okay. It's more about just being the power couple in this hobby. I think we'd be a dynamic couple. We could rival Heritage.
Well, I think we need to discuss all of this with Albert's wife before anything.
Yeah. Well, no, that was based on if you were single. So
Now I got to watch this on YouTube to hear what Mike said.
Oh my God! You should feel very lucky and fortunate that you didn't hear what he said.
Bottom line is that me and Albert are best buddies, and that's all I wanted people to know. Okay, go ahead.
I think that Mike and Albert are entering into a domestic partnership, and that's about all you need to know.
Well, we'd be Bam Bam Original Art. Well, Berkey Albert Moy, Berkey Albert. Isn't that great? Bam Bam Original. Well, a Flintstones logo.
Bill, roll the slides, please. Roll.
Okay.
Bill, get us out of here.
Well, you were almost going to tell us something about the 90s.
Yeah, you were saying something about the 90s when
you froze up.
I simply was going to say this guy made a $2.2 million purchase as his first purchase or his first auction purchase. And it just made me think, wow, my first purchase was, I think, $60. So that's big splash. Big splash. I wonder what he buys next.
Right, right, exactly, and that's
maybe
that's,
2 million to him is $60 to you. Who knows?
Think about it. How many?
Might be.
Or the other way around, actually.
Well, we have very few Hollywood people in our hobby when you really think about it. You know.
No, we have
Other than Glenn and Dave Mandel and
we have no. There are some quiet people out there that.
Come on, Mike. You've sold to a few. Come on.
But I'm saying known that are regulars.
There's more.
I'm sure there are, but not that.
I'm just glad I can afford $60 now without time payments. That I can.
Me too.
You've always got a credit card, Will. You've always got a credit card. All right, so
Maybe too many.
If you need time payments on $60, Will, I got your back, baby.
You might be the next power couple, you two. I don't know. So
Glenn and Will.
I call everybody baby. That's just that's how I roll.
All right.
Well, you could be mine and Albert's mini me's. Go ahead.
Yeah.
All right, Bill, baby.
I should have put whiskey in this tea if the way this is going.
All right, we're 10 minutes, no, 11 minutes into this thing. We haven't talked about any art yet, so we got to get this thing on. We've got a lot of art to talk about.
We do.
We're going to start off with this Jim Lee Scott Williams X-Men 272 DPS sold for $132, which includes the juice, of course.
Wow, that's an amazing price. That's highest ever.
I mean, I pegged this to do like $75,000. So again, the term overheated, I think, applies here for sure. And I mean, it's a great piece. There's no denying it, but $132,000 is more than the X-Men 4 Splash went for in, was it the last auction or the auction before?
That's right. I think it was either the same price or $5,000 more. You're right.
Comparatively, that just doesn't seem right.
Yeah.
No, but there's a lot of money in people who dug this era of X-Men. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
Right.
And even Jim Lee posted on Twitter. He said something like, "That's like $11,000 per X-Men character or something." So,
well, he's just planning out his new commission rates. Anyway, he's a great businessman, so he's just planning out the new commission structure.
Now his commissions are going to go up.
Yeah. You know what's funny, real quick? I mean, I remember not so long ago that X-Men covers and pages by Jim were tougher to sell than his Batman work, his Hush work at the time. And at one point, they were sort of even, which was a head scratcher to me because this is what made Jim's name to me is his work on X-Men. So when that happened, I mean, that, but obviously X-Men has started to catch up. So.
Right. Well, that was probably, the Batman Hush stuff. That was just that the people who want to buy stuff first and everything. But I agree. You're right. When that Batman Hush work was coming out, it was priced the same as, at least the interior page of X-Men from the same time period. So times changed.
Yeah. Well, I think those 90s kids are growing up.
Yeah,
they are.
Yeah.
And they've got a lot of money.
They're so grown up now.
All right. So this next one. This is Submariner 35, Sal Buscema from 1971, sold for $102,000, which I think ties a record for a cover by Sal as well. I don't recall what the other one was that sold for
Defenders 9.
Defenders 9.
There you go.
Thank you guys. More, but this is from Sal Big Bucks Buscema.
Yeah, this one didn't surprise me though, honestly. What's surprising is Sal's covers are reaching six figures. Overall, that's still kind of shocking. However, comparatively, this should be right up there at the top.
Yeah, I mean, it's first Defenders, and it's a big deal, and he's known for Defenders.
Second Defenders.
Second, right, but you got some of the main Avengers, main Defenders. You have Surfer. I mean, you got all the big guns right there.
Yeah. I said the Hulk looks trippy-ish in the face, which is sort of cool.
Personally, I feel like the composition is a little strange. Like, I don't know if Submariner wants to fight the Hulk or if he's like convincing him to fight the Avengers. It's like it feels a little awkward as a piece of art, but I guess historically it makes sense in terms of. I didn't think it was going to go quite as high as a Defenders cover. I thought it would be under 100K.
Defenders 9 is a nicer looking piece of art aesthetically. I agree with you. The composition is a little strange on this, but just content. It's hard to argue the content of it.
That is true. That is true.
Beautiful piece.
All right, and Neal Adams Green Lantern 77 cover sold for $84,000.
Yeah, I thought it interesting. I actually sold the unpublished cover where the unpublished cover to this I sold just a month ago for 36 grand, where the main characters were inked and the background characters were penciled. But I thought this would go for more than what it did, but it's still a strong price.
Yeah, it feels. I mean, this is one of the few. I mean, in looking at the entire auction, I felt like there are two pieces that I felt underperformed of everything that I was scanning, and everything else was either like where it should be or much higher. And this one, I mean, I guess you could say was one of the bargains of the auction, because it kind of went for about what you'd expect it would go for.
Right. And I mean, great images of both the main characters, and it's the second cover. I mean, think about it. The 76 one for what? 480,000.
40, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
We got to hand it.
Second issue. So
we got to hand it to our pals in Texas, because they actually have us saying, when it goes for about what you'd expect, it seems like a bargain. I'm just saying.
Or you could say, pay more. The more you pay for it, the more it's worth. That's a saying that guy.
No, but listen, comparatively, I agree. I mean, a prime Neal Adams Green Lantern, Green Arrow cover, going for less than what some modern stuff goes for does seem like not such a bad deal.
I'm just saying, you would assume without this auction, if you had this on the wall and that Sal Buscema Defenders on the wall, all of us would assume this would sell for more. Normally,
Or about the same. About the same.
Closer to the same,
That one went for 20,000 more.
Go back 3 years, I agree with you, or even 2 years, I agree with you wholeheartedly, Mike. But given the last couple years, it's just Marvel just is surging. DC's a bargain, folks.
There is no stopping the Sal Buscema train anymore. I mean, he's starting to look like he's the big brother of the Buscema family.
Yeah. Who's the collector that loves it? Mike Browning or somebody always loves Sal Buscema?
No, Nick.
Nick
Atreides, but there's somebody else too. I know that Nick.
There's a few people that love Sal. Yeah.
All right, selling for the same price, $84,000. This John Romita Sr. Amazing Spider-Man 63 cover.
Testament to ASM and Romita. I mean,
yeah.
Aesthetically, a pretty cover. I mean, the black backgrounds, the two vultures, the Spidey signal, but there's no Spidey.
Go down to the bottom. That's his head. He's just round.
Wow. Wow, he's got quite an ego with that head. No, but seriously, I mean, this is where we're at. Spider-Man is at the top of the heap, and I wouldn't say this is a bad cover. It's actually quite an attractive cover.
It's a classic. It's a classic cover.
It is. It's a classic.
The storyline is very well remembered, and I mean, I feel like this piece performed just about where you would expect it to perform.
And for what it's worth, this is the first ever small art ASM cover, because 62 is large. So this was the first small art ASM cover ever drawn. So the very beginning of the 12-cent small art era covers. And you can see all the razor cuts, is Romita's vintage razor cuts. All around. I love that. I love that stuff. These razor cuts. John showed me one day how he did all that on a piece of artboard with ink, and it was fascinating. I think that.
Didn't he do it with a quarter, Mike?
No, you actually did it with a razor blade.
I thought, but like the line work is from like rolling a quarter.
Oh, it very well might be. I don't know how he did that, but I know what precision. I always marvel at how. Look at the line. I marvel at John's attention to detail.
I mean, he's
always a
fantastic.
perfectionist.
I love his work. This is like a classic cover from great storyline, and very well remembered.
Right. Agreed.
And this is, of course, Barry Windsor-Smith and Tom Sutton. Conan the Barbarian #8 splash sold for $84,000 as well.
Yeah.
That seems like a pretty big number to me. I have to say, like just a couple of years ago, it seemed like Smith splashes were in the 50K range, and they weren't selling very quickly
or less. Yep.
Yeah.
I have a great splash on my website. I'm selling. I can sign for somebody. I mean, at 28 grand, and you know, not as great as this, but not that much far off. I thought that was a really strong price for this, but you know, there's a few hardcore, and it's not even a page one. A lot of people feel page one splash are worth more than last page splashes too. It's a last page splasher, but you actually get more art.
Right.
It's gorgeous, and you know,
it is. But again, if it feels like it's like the Conan factor. You know,
right.
There was another big Conan cover in this auction, and that way overperformed as well, in my opinion. We'll talk about that later when we get to it. But
well,
yeah.
Also, oh, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead, Mike.
I was going to say also, this is inked by Sutton. I always thought that Sal Buscema inked Barry Smith went for the most, but this was inked by Sutton and still went that high. So
right.
Some people think Sutton. People that I've talked to always said they always like Barry Smith inked by Sal, but this is inked by Sutton, and yet it still had that amazing price. So,
right.
But it's beautiful. I'm sure framed, it's gorgeous, and more power to the buyer. You know?
Now, this cover was talked about a lot this weekend. This is Frank Brunner, of course. It's the Doctor Strange #3 cover from 1974, sold for $72,000.
Yeah, that's a record, I think, too, but that's a doozy cover, boy.
That's a great cover, but I mean, again, it's a cover that I thought would do like 40K.
Yeah, wow.
I mean, maybe even 50, but it feels very heavy. Feels very heavy. Because I think the last cover that sold went for 42 or 44 or somewhere around there. And this is a better example, no doubt. But
well, that portfolio Brunner went for a ton of money in an auction or two ago. Do you remember what that went for, Glenn? That was a doozy too.
Yeah, I don't remember the price of that.
But that was big too. That was 12 by 18. I think that went for around the 40 plus range. But yeah, that's a strong price. But arguably one of his greatest covers.
Well, I mean, I mean, he's facing off a good villain, Dormammu. How do you pronounce it?
Dormammu.
I mean, that's kind of like the guy, like that's kind of a silly name, but you'd think like Winnie the Pooh and Dormammu, but he, you know,
when you say it like that, Dormammu.
You know, Winnie the Pooh.
You know, he's silly until he's burning you with hellfire or whatever the hell he's
right.
You know.
Right. No, but obviously he's one of his classic villains, and
You know, I didn't even realize. Correct me if I'm wrong. On the very, very bottom right, that looks like Howard the Duck. I mean, I'm just looking. I just noticed it.
Can you blow that up, Bill?
Is that Howard the Duck?
Yeah.
What the heck?
I just noticed it for the first time ever. Holy!
I think that was added though. That.
Oh, was it? Okay, I'm going like I just noticed it. I'm like, what the heck?
That's strange.
What's funny is I'll get that's drawn.
Yeah, it looks drawn.
Was that a word balloon? Was that a word balloon on the comic? I just saw that. I'm going,
where does this issue fit in relation to Howard the Duck 1?
Oh, that's right. I don't know. That's pretty doggone funny though. I just saw that.
Yeah, I have to look and see if they even mention it in the description.
That is funny.
That is weird.
Yeah, I'll read about it while we look at the next piece of art. How's that? But yeah, this was the one a lot of people were buzzing about, and you know, I'm a big Brunner fan, so I love this cover a lot. But yeah, it was surprising. But what are you going to do? I mean, it's back to supply and demand. I think this is a new precedent.
Yeah, on the comic book, it's just a burst. I just looked it up. It's just a burst, but he added the Howard the Duck.
Okay, so this page kind of surprised me. I mean, it did like 72K or something like that.
Did it go that high? I had no idea. 72,
yeah.
So I mean, obviously, like Burnley is desirable to Golden Age collectors, but I mean, I can't think of a piece.
Well,
going that high, and generally speaking, I think the Burnley stuff that people like are the Batman stuff.
Right. But I do believe this is the earliest known interior Superman piece of art in existence.
Is that right?
The Action 15 covers sold, but I believe this is the earliest known Superman interior piece of art. So I think it was bought for that reason more than art.
Right.
But artistically, it's beautiful for a Golden Age.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I was expecting like 30, 40 grand or so, not.
Well, I mean, it does show you that there, I guess, is, I mean, maybe some of these Golden Age pieces that a lot of the silver and modern collectors have overlooked are starting to have their moment. I mean,
right.
kind of a surprise.
Well, the scarcity of it,
Right.
I was happy to see it because I didn't even think anything like that existed.
Okay, so this is one of, I said there were two pieces that I thought underperformed, and this is one of them.
This is Steve Ditko, Strange Tales 117. Sold for $55,200.
And
I think it sold for 66 last year.
Somebody told me this sold. I had no idea.
Yeah.
I have to confess to everybody that I was the purchaser of this piece.
Well, you got quite the deal, I think, because
I had no idea. I just said I was looking at it closely. Think about it. It's Strange Tales 117. It's the 4th issue. This is actually like the 32nd page ever of Doctor Strange. I'm just saying. These are like 10, 11-page stories. So I think
I thought this was going to do like between 65 and 75. So I think you got quite the deal.
Yeah, I was thinking. I wasn't even planning on bidding on it, and I looked at it closely. I go, he's in every panel. He's in every single panel.
Mike, you've put it in a whole different perspective. You said this is like the 32nd or 33rd page he's appeared on. That is a very interesting way to look at it.
Well, if it was a real comic book, it'd be Doctor Strange 2, because he only has in half of the books, and it's his 4th issue. This will be like the end of Doctor Strange 2.
Only first appearances are important. Doctor Strange 2 doesn't matter.
I know. But I just thought, in my opinion, I thought this was as valuable as a Spider-Man Ditko action page, which is 80 to 100. And I said, why would I said, I'm going to take it when he's in every panel. I know he's in his astral form, which I still think is cool as heck.
Yeah, it's cool.
And he's stuck in a bottle and stuff like that. I remember I used to own, do you remember that piece of artwork that Ditko had where he drew Doctor Strange in an ink bottle? It was a specialty piece.
Yeah, that's right. That specialty
I used to own that. And I said him in that bottle made me think of that piece of art when in the 60s, he drew Doctor Strange in a bottle.
Nothing like an
enchanted ink bottles, Mike. That could be your forte.
But I mean, him and Baron Mordo, Dormammu and Baron Mordo, that's his arch enemies. And I just thought, 9 panels, Doctor Strange in every panel. That's such an awesome historical piece. I got to do it. Pencils and ink Ditko as well.
32nd page and an enchanted cylinder. I mean, what do you need?
Yeah, and trapped by Baron Mordodo, not Dormammu.
Right, Dormammu and Winnie the Pooh.
Right.
No, I think you'll do well with that piece, Mike.
I thought it was a great investment piece. So
this one was a shocker, I gotta say. I thought, if you had offered me this piece for $20,000, I would have been like, I don't know, and it sold for $50,000.
Yeah,
that's a trade paperback cover by Bisley, of course. 1991.
I would have thought 25 or 30 on this, and that's it.
There are like a lot of Lobo fans out there.
Yeah.
I just sold a vintage cover that most people feel is better than this one. I sold on consignment for a guy I sold for $25. And I think it's just as good, if not better than this one. So, with Lobo. But it's a beautiful piece, and
listen, it certainly is a beautiful piece. It's just one of the prices in this auction that just, went for double than what I anticipated, and that's always surprising.
Right. Great piece, 91. I'm glad these got their love. I thought these would sell well, and they all did.
Yeah.
I thought that they would sell well.
I mean, just historically, these DC splashes, even when they're first appearances or significant appearances, they've underperformed. Whether it's in auction or privately, they typically underperform. But this did pretty damn well. I mean, comparatively, the panel page, like blew my socks off. I think that was 26 grand. It's like half the price of the splash, which is
what did this one end up selling for, Bill?
Like 50?
50,000. Yep.
50,400.
Wow.
Yeah.
It shows how much I know. I never even knew there was an Ultraman and a Superwoman.
Mike.
I mean, back then I did not know. I never saw
Mike.
It's because you spend too much time thinking about who your power.
I love Ultraman from the 60s. I'm still waiting for the Ultraman movie. So I love that.
Mike, you got to come off of EMU campus and come to Earth 3 every now and then.
Yeah, I didn't even know those characters existed. So,
well, that's just real quick, that splash. I mean, it is emblematic because you have the Earth 1 heroes, the Earth 2 heroes, and what would be the Earth 3 heroes, except everything is reversed. So
Right.
It really does lay out the whole concept of multiple Earths.
Right.
I don't know anything about DC. I can't comment.
And it's
Oh,
it's a very cool, and it's a very
Bill.
cool splash as well.
No, I love that one. That was beautiful.
All right, so we have the Bernie Wrightson Swamp Thing 5.
It's a record for a panel page. I know that for sure.
49,200.
Those covers are going to be going up in value.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, didn't the cover just sell last year for like 80 or something, like 70, 80?
I think it was even less, but yeah, I mean, like I'd much rather. Look, this is a great page. There's no denying it. But I thought it would do like 25,000. You know?
Yeah.
But,
me too. It went for double it went for almost double.
Again, just another double. I mean, fantastic page. I mean,
Bernie deserves it too, and there's so few of these out there. So
right.
It's a pretty unique page where he's growing back his arm. I mean, it is a great page, but it feels heavy.
Yep. Yeah. That center
arm
feels fantastic.
But that arm feels heavy to Swampy. You know,
I think there's something about these 9-panel pages, like the Ditko was 9 panels, this is 9 panels, so that you get more art for your buck, so that's why it's worth more.
All right.
I'm being facetious, of course.
I understand.
32nd page, 9-panel page.
What it's going to say in the description.
Let's see, issue 5. Yeah, no, issue 5. That's like the 86th page of Swamp Thing.
Did you buy that one too, Mike?
No, I did not. It went too high for me.
Mike, you've been reading too many NFL stats. You're starting to bring them into comic art.
I know. But beautiful page, but I was shocked at the price. So
right.
Covers are going to go up.
Yeah. I'm assuming everybody knew that there was a buyer's premium on these things because they were bidding like they didn't know it, right? In a weird way.
Right.
But
they're like, oh my God, what did I do?
Bill, it's funny you say that because I can't express to you how many conversations I've had with people, not just over the years, but even in the last year, where they're like, hey, do you count the buyer's premium? And my answer is always, did you pay it? And they're like, well, yeah. Well, then you count it. I mean,
right.
No,
exactly.
It's like it's a donation. It's not.
It must be.
I think it's tax deductible.
Yeah.
I mean, I think everybody would love to get an extra 20% that the buyer goes, well, I didn't really count that.
Well, I mean, still, think about it. I mean, the last two Heritage Signature auctions were both around $6 million total. So this one's $4 million total. So that means there was probably another $2 million of spendable cash that could have gone into that got spent in here. And that's probably why, we've seen some of these pieces go for a little bit higher than maybe they should, or it's just another shift. But if you've got buyers that are spending that much money in the prior two signature auctions, and then you come into this one with not as many platinum pieces, that money's still out there. So, and yeah, I mean, at least the pieces that we're seeing, the Bisley example was a really great one. It went for more. This is you're not going to find too many 9-panel interior pages like this from Bernie out there available that you can get as easily as this one. And so I don't know. It's a interesting time to be in the hobby. That is for certain.
For sure.
Never dull.
Never dull. So here is a Neal Adams and his pal Dick Giordano. It's a JLA 89 cover. It went for $48,000.
I thought that was high too. Wow.
Yeah, that seemed high. And this is one of the
you got a Superman head and half a Batman head.
Bit higher than you.
One of the few published unfinished Neal Adams covers.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, no, it's a bit stronger than you. I mean, I think conventional wisdom would have said about 10 grand less, 35 or 40.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nice images of all the other characters.
35.
Right.
Yeah. No, I mean it's a
unusual story, and the Harlan Ellison effect may be on it. Who knows?
I think last year that memorable cover with Grundy defeating the JLA, the 92, went for roughly the same.
Yeah, I could double check that. I think you're right though, Will.
Yeah, that one I think is far superior.
Well, a year makes a big difference.
Apparently.
Yeah.
It's like dog years.
And this is a John Romita Sr. superhero women trade paperback cover. It's a prelim, and it's sold for $45,600.
Yeah, I was shocked at that as well.
That seemed
And,
very
and
expensive.
we're not going to say who, but I think each of us, or at least me and Glenn, have razzed the buyer on this one because we could not believe he took this dip. But somebody bid him up. I mean,
yeah, no, I mean there were two people there. I thought somebody. I mean, I thought this piece was going to do 25, maybe 30.
That's what I was thinking.
Maybe 30, but 45 feels like. I hope the buyer loves it.
Because the painting to Greatest Superhero Battles, which is one of the companion books, went for what, 50 or 51 last year, and this is a pre.
Mike, what did that painting go for? You were interested in that painting.
Which one?
The one with the
Greatest Superhero Battles.
Oh, God, no, that one went in the 70s. I think that went for like 70.
Did it go that high?
Did it?
I
thought it was the same, but yeah.
I think it went for 72. Right
Bill,
around.
Can you check that? Or you want me to check that real quick?
Last auction,
Romita. Can you check it, Will? Do you mind? It was 2 auctions ago. I do know that.
I could check it too if you want, Will.
But I mean, when you look at this piece, I mean, I know it's a prelim. It's it's certainly not a pencil prelim. It's inked. It's inked pretty well. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, somebody really wanted it, right? It is certainly
it's a finished piece, and it's Romita in his at the peak of his artistic merit. I mean, but still, it just feels expensive.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. It went for 55,200.
Okay.
I thought it was like a similar.
I don't know why I thought it went higher.
Price point.
Thanks, Mike, because it wasn't coming up for me.
Yeah, 55,200.
So yeah, about 10 grand more.
Just had most of the Hulk in the thing. Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, that's wrong. I know people call it a prelim. It's actually a finished piece. It's just a line art for the painting,
Right.
I mean, it would be a very finished prelim, but I just like the fact that the buyer of it we can tease.
Right. But I own the pencil prelim to this piece, so that's truly a prelim. That's the finished line art. Then they made a painting from it.
How much you want for that, Mike?
I don't know. It's a prelim. A pencil. I'll show it to you.
All right.
Yeah.
I've seen it. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Happy days.
Happy days.
Yeah. This is Daredevil, Mazzuchelli, sold for $45,600.
Gasp.
Wow. Well, big no. I mean, this is probably my favorite Daredevil storyline.
Yeah.
Love Frank Miller and Mazzuchelli. It's not my favorite. It's not my favorite page from the story, but they are hard to come by. And
I know who the seller was of this. He was very, very happy with the sale.
I would imagine so.
This seems like a sea change for these. I mean, I know the Mazzuchelli pages go for good money, but this seems like it was a step or two above what we're used to seeing.
I thought this was going to do like 30.
Man, everything's about 50% over what you guys were guessing. That's
that's a mark.
Conventional wisdom doesn't always win.
I mean,
what you love.
So this is actually an interesting piece. 2 years ago, I sold this cover for $20,000 to the owner who put it in, and I actually was like trying to get it back from him, and I asked him about it just before the auction, and he said he had put it in. So I thought, like, well, maybe I'll try and get it back.
What was the actual sale again?
43,000. It's got to be the highest Gil Kane Conan sale ever. I mean, I can't think of any that went over 25 before this one.
But this is, this is one where, I mean, Glenn and I were discussing this because he was like, man, I can't believe what this went for. But I mean, I remember this image being on the Slurpee cup, and I think the stickers, and the image was just used so much.
Plus, it has like the 3 things you want on a Conan cover. It has a monster. It has Conan in a great pose battling, and it has a pretty girl. Like those are the 3 elements you look for on Conan.
But I have a funny anecdote to this. Last year, Heritage Platinum auction. This is the cover to what? 34, right?
35.
35. Last year, Heritage Platinum auction. I bought the Conan 18 cover, Gil Kane inked by John Romita, and he's battling this big black monster. I paid $13,000 plus the juice for. I'm saying 1/3 the price for Kane by Romita a year and a half earlier than this. So,
well, I mean, I'm sure you could sell it for a lot more now.
But maybe the Slurpee cup image added.
Yeah,
some
no, the marketing. You know, people remember this. I mean, I wasn't a big Conan fan in probably 1975 or 76, but I remember that Slurpee cup.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think it was all. Wasn't it also like the I don't know if it was like the those insert the Marvel stamps. The Marvel stamps and
the Marvel stamps and the stickers that everybody used to put on their refrigerator and their you know, their closet doors and stuff like that. Yeah.
Great image though. But
yeah, great cover.
By far.
Congratulations to the buyer. It is a wonderful cover.
And the seller.
And the seller.
Yeah, yeah.
Definitely the seller. Let's not forget him.
This is a Jim Lee, Scott Williams, Fantastic Four #3 cover, sold for $43,200 as well.
These have come up in the world, let me tell you.
Yeah, I mean, this given what's going on with Jim Lee, this is not a surprising number. Probably, like, you know, I thought 35, 40. You know, again, one of the pieces that pretty much feels like it did what you would expect.
I remember when Jim Lee's Fantastic Four and Green Lantern work were just kind of looked upon as just something you throw into a deal, and now they've really come up in the world.
Not so much the covers.
The covers. I had the cover to #2 where he's battling the Submariner. I could not.
I had that cover too at a certain point, and I did well with it. So I felt like it was.
I had it before you. I could not give it away for a while. Eventually, it sold, but
right.
And the Green Lantern covers, I remember they were. I mean, very different story now, but they were tough to move back then.
Right. Yeah, the Green Lantern covers I agree with you on, but the Fantastic Four, I thought those were.
You might have bought that from me. Maybe you had a little insight I didn't there. I don't know.
I might have. Yeah, I think I bought it for like it was under $5, and I wound up selling it for like $7,500.
I think $3,500 or $4,000 is what I sold it for.
Right. Wow, that's a very busy cover.
It is busy. Yeah.
Great images. Yeah.
This is a Raymond. We weren't going to talk about the Raymonds today, were we?
Yeah,
we're all silent all of a sudden.
I know. I missed that one. This is Marie Severin and Joe Sinnott. It's Captain America 127 cover. It sold for $40,800.
So I thought it would do about 28 to 30. It's I mean, it's a nice cover, but just feels, again, another one of these things that overperformed by about 50%.
I would agree with that. I was thinking 30 retail, all in. You said it sold for 43? Bill?
40
total? Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But again, man, this early silver, late silver, early bronze, these covers are getting harder and harder to find. So if you want a great example, you got to gobble it up now,
Right.
More collectors coming in the hobby.
It's making sort of second tier twice up covers look a little cheap, though.
Yeah.
It is indeed, yeah.
Well,
a great image.
I don't know. I mean, we're probably not going to have shows again this year, any major Comic-Cons. So, there's more money to spend at auction. So
that's a good point.
I really think we're going to continue to see
and
this.
On websites.
And on sites too. Yeah, when people know how to mark their stuff properly. And this is a great cover. It's by Sal Buscema. It's Thor 206. It sold for $38,400.
I mean, again, a classic cover. I've always really liked this cover. I thought it would do, like, again, 28 to 30.
I was guessing 30 retail myself. So it was formed by like 25, 30%.
But I mean, a fantastic cover. Actually, I know the guy who bought this, and he considered it a grail and is very excited to get it. So
if you love Absorbing Man, that's much better than that.
I think if we were at a show pricing this and the previous example, I think you'd probably price this higher. You know, Thor, Buscema Thor versus Severin Cap.
Oh yeah, I would value this one a little bit more, and it sold for less, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, not much.
Not much.
$2,000 less.
Yeah, a couple grand less.
Yeah, no, I like this cover better as a piece of art, and I like Buscema better than Severin. So yeah, I mean, but I usually favor Cap as a title in terms of sales. Feels like a wash,
but a much better villain here. So
yeah,
without question. And this is inked by John too, so I mean that's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, wow, John rarely inked himself. I didn't know that.
That's a great example.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, that's a doozy.
Carl Crusher Creel, hard to beat that villain.
Oh, there's our interiors of those.
Okay.
Yep. From Sikowski. This one went for $38,000.
That, I mean, you know, I wasn't sure whether this or the page one. I mean, I figured the page one would do better, but you know, at one point I was thinking that they're going to be pretty comparable.
Right.
Because, you know, this is them in action using their powers.
What again did the page one sell for, Bill?
50,400.
Yep.
50,400. This one was what, 38?
This 38. One you don't get the Earth 2 characters. This is
correct,
just
which is a big deal.
True.
ASA meant a lot. I like the page one a lot more, but this is Battles. From the characters I never heard of, yeah.
And this is Batman, Mike. Have you ever heard of him?
Well, he's in the tuxedo in the back.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, I thought that was Alfred.
So if you look closely, Mike, you might see a guy in a spider suit if you look really closely there.
I think this is the first appearance of Spider-Man in here.
Yeah, I think
really?
He's somewhere in here. So this is Dick Sprang, of course, Batcave original art from 1993, sold for $36,000. This was on the wall behind the auctioneer, I think. Day one.
I believe this was in a previous auction as well. They sold this one previously as well.
Well, there you go. Once they frame it behind the auctioneer, it's over.
Yeah, I mean it's got to do $36,000 just for the frame.
Yeah, no, those were beautiful pieces that Sprang drew back in them.
No, I agree.
When did he draw this? This was not. This
I think it's in the 93 or 95.
93.
93.
So this is one of the first ones because the other ones I think were 95 and 96. This is one of the first ones.
I think this one was not published. The other one was.
Or is it? You know how all this happened. Joe Desris got him to do these, and they made the lithographs. You remember?
Right.
Big Batman collector Joe Desris back in the day got him to commission these for him. Then he turned them into lithographs, and actually they bombed the lithograph sales, so they got stuck with them all. I just remember hearing that story years ago.
Is he still around, Mike?
I think he is, but I know Joe. Remember, Joe had like one of the top Batman art collections in the world. Remember?
Yeah.
And then I remember he sold it all. Had some family issues, and he had taken care of family members, and he sold his collection off. Sadly, oof. But Joe was a great guy back in the '90s, collector with his Batman collection.
So this is McFarlane. Marvel Comics Presents from 1989, sold for $33,600.
I mean, it's not the characters he's really known for, but I mean, if you want a McFarlane example that looks good and doesn't, relatively speaking, break the bank, here you go.
Yeah, a couple people were asking me about it. I said, well, it's probably the only wraparound cover I know he ever drew. So if you like a lot of art, that's probably the biggest piece of art he's ever drawn. That's what I was telling.
And you get a double cover for the price of a Spider-Man panel page.
Yeah,
with one panel of Spider-Man.
Is there Spider-Man where?
No, I'm saying like.
Oh, if it were, yeah.
Like that's about.
Bill, do you mind putting up the latest comment, Ryan?
Oh, sorry.
How many
of these? Yeah.
Pieces? Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows?
I mean, you know, what's interesting about that is, I mean, we have no way of knowing. You know, sometimes things make their way to CAF immediately following the auction or even during the auction. Sometimes they don't show up. What I would say is interesting is how many of these pieces are owned by, you know, CAF gallery members but aren't displaying them.
Well, a lot of them. You know, a lot of people aren't going to show their high end or their high ticket items on calf for lots of different reasons. I mean, unless they're fishing, but some collectors do, right? I mean, there's plenty of 6-figure covers on calf. It really just depends
absolutely.
on
I just wanted to provoke the thought that sometimes these things are hiding in plain sight, so to speak.
And you know what? The more I'm looking at this cover, I think that is Spawn on the left side anyway. So this cover is substantially more valuable. That is Spawn.
That's Black Panther.
Even though it says Black Panther, right?
Black Panther.
Yeah, I think that's Spawn though, and he just did that. It's precursor to Spawn 1.
It's Spawn Panther.
You're gonna laugh when I tell you this. The whole time until you just said that, I actually thought that was the Prowler. I didn't even look at the word blurb. I thought that was the Prowler. I honestly thought that was the Prowler the whole time.
You can't get out of the Spider-Man universe.
I thought that was the Prowler the whole time.
This is why reading is fundamental, Mike.
Yeah, I'm going like that's the Prowler. I go, who wants the back cover with the Prowler on it? I go, where's the horns? Does Black Panther have little ear things? They're not. Oh, there they are. They're way too far back. My God.
That I agree, Mike. They are pretty far back.
Honestly, I literally thought that was the Prowler the whole time.
We know.
That's funny.
Yep, James Jean sold for $33,600.
I don't know that market at all, so I don't know what to say on these.
And that seems like a reasonable price for this thing. I mean,
yeah,
I can't imagine anything that he does that looks that good going for less than 25. So,
and I'm sure it's huge, right? It's probably really big, right, Bill?
Yeah, it's probably large and.
Typically his covers were, I'm not quite sure.
20 by 30 or 30 by 40. I remember them being. I've owned one, and I remember it was humongous.
It's a beautiful piece.
14 by 21 on this one, actually.
Oh, it's actually
one of the smaller ones.
Twice upsize.
Yeah. Beautiful stuff.
We're all very silent on this one. We don't have much to say.
Yeah, sorry guys. Charles Schultz got in there.
I love this. Oh, Billy.
Oh, you want me to go back to that?
Mike wants to take over this little segment here.
No, I was saying. Oh, I thought you were talking about the Fables. No, I thought this was awesome, man. I was interested in this one, but it went a little too high for me. But I was bidding on it. I just love Snoopy on his doghouse, and I thought the gag was freaking hilarious. And that was it.
All right, 33,600 on that one.
Yeah, I think I was the underbidder on it, but whatever.
Well, you can't win them all. Right?
No.
I used to own this piece back in the day, and I sold it because I also owned the cover, and I thought, I don't need the splash if I have the cover. And then a few months ago, it occurred to me, well, I no longer own the cover. Maybe I should try and get this splash back. And I was unsuccessful, and the seller put it in Heritage because he had a higher opinion of the value, and he turned out to be correct. I honestly thought this was like maybe a little north of 20, not north of 30.
And it went for $31,200.
Yeah.
So this is priceless.
I used to own this one years ago as well.
Yeah, no, but honestly, from the series, this is one of the best splashes. Some of the splashes are just like, but you have some of the most pivotal characters from the story. I mean, the Anti-Monitor, the Psycho Pirate, who he uses to control one of the Earths, and then, of course, the Flash, who makes the ultimate sacrifice. So, I mean, as a crisis example outside of a cover, this is about as good as it gets.
Yeah, I agree. I really like this one too.
But not cheap.
Not pocket change.
and I don't know if you have this queued up, but to me it sort of made the JLA 192 splash, which has the whole JLA membership fighting Red Tornado. It made that look relatively cheap. That went for $7,800.
I don't think I went down that far in the.
Although that is about market, or maybe even slightly high market. But I mean, I'm just saying comparatively, it made it feel lighter.
So this is a really nice Colin Howard the Duck cover. I like this one a lot, but it did again overperform a bit in my opinion. What did it do? 31,000, and I thought it would do somewhere between 20 and 25.
Yeah, I agree. I was interested in this one, but I thought it went way too high for me. So,
at auction, they were doing in this, 25, 30 grand range. And then when they started coming out privately, dealers were not able to capture those prices for the most part. But I guess, maybe somebody came back for round 2.
I know, yeah. Very cool.
It's a good looking
Very
cover.
cool cover.
Yeah,
Very
nice,
cool
cover.
cover.
Nice hardcover.
A lot of monsters and creatures.
Yeah, this is another Marie Severin, Frank Giaccoya, Daredevil 63 cover. It sold for $31,200 as well.
It's a great looking cover.
Nice
Around
cover.
what I'd expect.
I thought this was an awesome cover.
I thought this was going to do like 25 to 28, so I thought it kind of it overperformed a little bit, but it's a great cover, and you know.
What did you say sold for 31, Bill?
31.
Yeah, I was guessing 25, and
I mean, it goes against what most Daredevil collectors would say, but I personally like Gladiator. That's one of my favorite Daredevil villains. There's something about the two of them fighting that just it just seems like a very classic matchup.
Yeah, no, I like Gladiator too, and obviously the Miller Gladiator cover went for over 100,000
right.
in the other auction. So,
yep.
This is the consolation prize for that for the underbidder on that one.
I'm sure the owner doesn't feel like this is a consolation prize. Bill.
No, of course not. I mean, I'll be honest. Gladiator is actually one of my favorite Daredevil.
Yeah, no, he's a great villain.
It really is. So this is Jim Starlin and Warlock #6 cover. It sold for $31,200 as well.
That was pretty high for my thoughts.
You can't argue the content, but it feels a little high for the era that it was rendered.
Does, yeah.
1992.
Yeah, feels a little high.
I don't know how, but a buddy of mine said I used to own it. He said some of the inks are fading on it. He goes, but they took a nice picture. Is all he said. He goes, I got rid of it because I saw the inks are starting to fade on it.
Unfortunately, Jim is known for using marker or non-permanent ink because there's been a number of pieces they go purplish.
We all know of that.
Yeah.
Book, yeah.
Well, that's a shame.
I mean, it has everybody on it.
Get it in.
No, there was a cover he did that I owned. I was able to find, and it was actually one of my favorite covers by him. And I was so disappointed; it was so faded. I just couldn't bring myself to keep it.
Well,
this is certainly a lot of action, boy. But I thought that was a strong price for a 1990s cover by him.
But you know, Thanos, Warlock, Captain Marvel, all his signature characters.
Yeah.
And this is Kirby Sinnott, Silver Surfer graphic novel, page 10, sold for $30,000.
I mean, just a great page. I actually, thought about going after this page myself, and I thought, well, maybe I would spend up to 25,000 on it, but I was surprised that it did more than that, 30.
Yep, I agree. Again, I thought I was getting 25 retail. It went for 31. Like just a little higher.
And you've got some really cool, like isolationist type panels. You've got him on the board in the final panel. There's a lot to like about this page, but just did feel a little expensive.
That third panel to me is the best panel.
It's a great panel.
I'll take the sixth. You could have the third. Love you, buddy.
Oh, Mike. This is another Perez piece, Crisis on Multiple. There was trade paperback cover sold for $30,000.
So the buyer of this just felt like he had to have it. It was just a piece that he really remembered. And it admits it did not go cheap. Feels heavy for this era of Perez, but some people sort of regard this as like, this is still like George really looking like George.
Now, is this a double cover? Is this two sideways pieces of artboard?
I don't think so.
I didn't know if it was two boards crossways or just one board. Does it say the size, Bill? I was curious.
It's 10 by 15.
Oh, yeah, okay. I don't know why. In my head, I thought it was a double cover.
I mean, from this era, it's a lot of money for a Perez piece, but you do have, you have Earth 1, Earth 2 characters, and a lot of them, some Fourth World characters. So, it's a lot of DC goodness there.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Bill, why don't you take one of the comments, the one from Chuck Arnold?
Oh, yes. Yeah, that was a speculator question. Are there people buying art and putting it away in a warehouse?
So, I mean, my feeling about what's going on really is, you know, there are new people coming into the hobby. I feel like this year has been a very, very unusual year with the pandemic. A lot of people don't have, you know, are not spending money on vacations, or not spending money on restaurants, or, you know, they have, the people that have money to spend have excess cash. And I think a lot of new blood have discovered the hobby and are just sort of like pushing up prices right now. I don't know that this is necessarily people that are saying like, oh my God, it's going to be worth that much more later. Although I do think, you know, there is still room to grow, just given what you were talking about earlier in the show, Bill. But my feeling is that it's new people coming in and pushing up the market.
Hey, I have a question to ask you guys on this. Who's the person that died on this? That they're arresting?
Mr. Terrific.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure who the person that died was.
Of Earth 2, yeah. No, I have to agree with what Glenn said and what Bill even suggested in the beginning. The only thing I would add is that I don't think it's being stored in a warehouse a la Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
No, I don't either. And you know, I'll tell you, there's been a lot more newer collectors coming into CAF than, you know, that I've been pretty surprised about, and a lot of different people asking questions, and then they have these great pieces showing up. So I do think there are a lot more people coming into the hobby in the last 12 or 18 months, and yeah, I mean, I'm seeing it very, you know, quite regularly. A lot of people going premium for the first time, and they've only been members, you know, for less than 12 months. And I always check out the galleries when they do, and there's a lot more new, you know, people just discovering the hobby and discovering CAF. And
I agree. Listen, and I will tell people. Oh, go ahead, Glenn.
No, I was just going to say it is a very weird time, just sort of echoing what Glenn said, because you have people that have money find themselves having a little more money, and then of course there's a lot of people that are really suffering financially. So it's a weird, strange time. But yeah, new people coming in that have a little bit of money, they are buying. You know, maybe they're spending a little more time on the internet. But I mean, we all know what it feels like when you discover this hobby and you really get passionate about it. I mean, if you have some money to go through, you can't spend it fast enough for this stuff, you know. And that's what's happening with a few people, because I mean, even some of us have gotten new customers that have been spending like pretty aggressively.
Yeah. Well, not only new customers, but I've gotten some new customers that are like 28 years old, 30 years old, you know, younger than I would have expected, spending, you know, above 10K on pieces.
Yeah.
So, you know, it makes me feel like there's another generation coming in that's gonna, you know, pick up just where we left off.
I agree.
Not done yet.
No, I was gonna say, you know, I was actually just doing tabulations, and I have to say, I literally sold twice as much artwork this year than any other year I've ever had. And I was flabbergasted. And I was just doing my tabulations for the year 2020, and I've met so many new people this year. I've honestly met over probably 100, 120 new collectors this year.
Wow. Mike, you scared me for a second. I thought you were about to when you said you're doing your tabulations for the year, I thought you were about to disclose. I'm like, no.
I have to echo what you were saying, Mike. This year I did twice the business I did last year also. So, I mean,
I don't think I did twice, but I probably did at least a 50% uptick.
Yeah, I've done almost exactly, and that's not even counting trades now. I'm talking just sales, cash sales.
Yeah. No, I agree.
This year, what I did in 19, and I didn't even know until I did the tabulations, because I have, in Ohio here, we have to pay this stupid commercial activity tax. I have to give them tabulations, and I looked it up, and I'm going like, oh my gosh, this was the best year ever. So,
well, here, this is.
There you go, Bill.
So you guys don't watch my Thursday show, because when I did the recap, I did a 2020 recap, and one of the factoids I pulled out was just that very interesting number as well. This is dealer sales. So the
Right.
dealer sales went from 6,000 unique sales and $6.5 million in 2019 into almost, over 10,500 sales in 2020.
Almost doubling for both.
And almost doubling.
Yep.
Right. It's,
Yeah. No.
and this is of course only with the dealers that I work with, but and I think Glenn, you might have been the only dealer I added in there, and I don't think you had $6 million in sales last year. So this just shows you that.
And if he did, I need to sell him a few things.
I'm not talking.
Exactly. But it goes to show you that it's really true, because the auction house figures weren't the same. I mean, I'll load up the auction house figures just so you can see those comparatively.
And, make us weep.
Yeah, no, but it really wasn't that much different. The growth on auction sales didn't change. And
Wow.
Interesting.
Well, I'll tell you what I think. I'll tell you what I think our unique special sauce is for the pandemic, and that is our websites are open for sales 24/7. So if you want a piece, you're eating a bad piece of pizza at 3 a.m. and you want to get a piece of art, you cannot go to Heritage. You cannot go to any of the auction houses and get yourself a piece of art, but you can go to one of our websites if that pizza is really sitting in a strange place in your stomach and you want to order something from us. So,
Sure.
I mean, I think that makes a difference.
no, it really does. It really does. And I was surprised when I saw these figures as well. I mean, I knew that from doing the market reports like we have been doing for almost over a year and a half now. I knew the sales were up, but until I ran the final reports to compare year to year, I was really surprised. So, but again, this money, I would also add though that a lot of this money would have been sold at cons. But the thing is, I know most of the dealers that I work with record their con sales in their admins, and that would have made its way back into my reports as long as the pieces that sold at the cons were once on their website. So this is really, I really see this as a growth in the hobby that is that none of us really knew about until. Well,
the other thing that's important is Rich Danny's agrees with me, and I think that's the key right there.
There you go. We need to have Rich on this show sometime.
There you go. Another guy.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think it's just an odd time, but I do think certainly the pandemic has played a part in some of the things that we've seen. But also, I do agree with everybody else.
It is strange days. It is strange days. Yeah.
But I'll tell you something. Before we get on to this other piece, one other thing I'd like to add is look, the pandemic's not over. I mean, 2021, I think for the most part, is going to look a lot like 2020. Yeah. And when finally we do come out of this, and I believe we will towards the end of the year, I think like there's a lot of pent up demand just in general, and life is for moving forward is going to be kind of like the Roaring '20s, the 1920s in terms of the economy. I think the next few years are going to be really bullish.
Oh.
So
people project the stock market to do well. I think it does, but
buckle up, it's going to be a wild ride.
Yep. Whereas Doc Ock said, "Fasten your seatbelts."
So here's a cool page. This is the first Captain America appearance in the Silver Age, even though it's not really Captain America in the story.
Yeah.
This was Stan and Jack trying things out, trying them on for size.
Oh, that was a key book. That Strange Tales 114 was a key book. I remember that. Reading that. That was a great story.
Yeah.
What did this page do, Bill?
28,800.
It's about what I would expect.
Yeah, that's about where I would have pegged it.
That's a historic page, pre-Avengers 4.
Yep.
And,
the only panel that's a little weird is the bottom panel.
I was just going to say, Cap looks a little funky there. The acrobat as Cap, we should say.
You didn't know that was the other weapon he could have chose was a mop instead of a shield.
Yeah.
But he went with the shield.
Yeah.
Captain Mop America.
Yeah.
This was that Gibbons Comics Journal 116.
That was sort of a cool piece.
Yeah, it came out.
Very cool piece.
I thought it was a pretty cool piece.
Yeah, sold for 27.6.
27.6.
This feels like, you know, if you want a Watchmen example, again, that doesn't, relatively speaking, break the bank and has a lot of the elements that are recognizable with the series. I mean, this is it. This actually felt light to me. I honestly thought it would do closer to 40.
And all that's drawn. All this is drawn on. No, I was following this one. I thought it was pretty cool. I was interested in it a little bit moderately, but I thought it was a cool piece. You
get the cover and 4 interior pieces. Look at that. I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah, 4 shrunken down pages. My goodness,
and a little script work there, and I mean, this is a cool piece.
Yeah.
I don't really know what to say about this piece, because, I mean, to me, it just feels like sort of like a promo piece, and I don't really know how to evaluate it properly. So,
you have to put it in perspective of, think about what most of the Watchmen covers are.
I get it. I know what the covers, and I know I can evaluate covers and pages. This is a tough one for me. So I'm just gonna say I don't know.
Well, the key is it came out when the run was still going. It came out with issue 10, which I thought was pretty key, that it came out while the book was still on the stands, which to me I thought added. I thought whoever got it did well, because I think it's worth more than whatever they paid.
Yeah.
Right. No. Right. Well, and think about this too, because it's a drawing. You know, it's Gibbons drawing the script written by Alan Moore, with Alan, and those thumbnails I would assume were drawn by Alan Moore. Just imagine what the thumbnails by Alan Moore for that would go for today. I mean, Dave's probably sitting on all those. Can you imagine that? I mean, at the end of the day, I'm sure he was drawing this as, you know, from the reference material that Alan had given him. So
and look, that's like a note, Dave. Here it is, best Alan. I mean,
I actually think he sent him a photograph, and he drew that based off a photograph. Is my guess. I think it's cool as heck.
Yeah, it looks like his desk. He just drew his desk.
That's what I'm saying.
But no, like I said, this piece to me, I thought it would do like 40-ish. So it feels like
you guys have sold me on it.
We were talking about Conan earlier. This is Neal Adams, and it's from the wraparound cover. It's for $26,400.
Yeah. People were saying, I guess he only drew Conan. Neal Adams only drew Conan 3 times, and this is one of them. But
if a Gil Kane cover can go for $43,000, why not a Neal Adams Conan?
This feels light, except that to me, this is what bugs me, and I'm being nitpicky, but the front and the back covers, because they don't match, I realize it's a wraparound and they're front and back covers, because they don't match as a complete scene, it's almost like I'd rather own these separately.
Well, you just cut it.
Yeah, you cut it right down the middle.
We don't do that. Or I don't do that, but
I think if you cut it right down the middle, that's $25,000 on each side.
What did it sell for, Bill?
It was $26,400.
See? Profit if you cut it right down the middle.
I actually like the back cover better than the front cover, though.
Yeah, with that foot on the treasure, that just makes it.
Yeah, it's a better pin-up-y image of Conan.
Yeah, it's bigger.
Well,
I mean, Adams did those Edgar Rice, Burroughs stuff. I mean, there's a lot of people who appreciate his Conan work. So
it's a nice looking piece. It just the because the image doesn't match up. That's me.
What was the size on that, Bill? I was just curious. Did it say the size? I was just curious.
Oh gosh, Mike, you're killing me.
Don't even go back. I was just curious, because it's on a different type of board since it was a record.
Right.
A lot of these. Anybody know where all these power record artists?
Yeah, I own a couple of the Superman, Batman, and Spider-Man ones. They've all come out over the past couple of years. I wonder if this was a warehouse find or one collection or what.
So it was 21 inches by 15 and a half.
Oh, so it is pretty big then. Overall.
Yeah, it's 2 standard size boards. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Oh yeah.
John Byrne, Terry Austin, X-Men 113, page 7, sold for $26,400 as well.
Feels heavy.
Yeah, but a lot of those.
I know.
Going. I mean, this market.
I mean, what do you think, Will? Like $20K for this page would be like the appropriate number?
I mean, listen, I like Storm as much or more than the next guy, but it is only Storm on the page, and that used to be a bone of contention when it came to when you have a team book. if you're not getting a significant part of the team, a lot of people are like, it's just this one character, even if they love the character.
So
but it's only the third time she cries.
18,000, 20,000. What's your estimate?
I mean, these pages still feel a little heavy to me overall. So, yeah, probably 18 to 20 is more like what I would have pegged it.
Okay.
But it's only the third time in her life she cries.
It doesn't say that.
Yeah, right there.
Mike's pulling out those football stats again.
You're reading? You're reading now, Mike?
Yes, those are words.
Wow. Can't
There's
believe
no Spuddy on the page.
Progress.
That robot is called Nanny, I just found out. That's exciting.
Glenn and Bill were rubbing off on him.
For just the third time. Even a mutant can cry, like Rich said. Yes.
Is this your first time reading this book, Mike?
Even a mutant could cry. Wait, Android. That was that's taken from the Vision, right? Even
yeah,
very good.
I like that, Rich. Congrats. That's a good one, Rich.
Wait a second. Is this true? What Jason just said? The big storm is a stat?
I think it's a cutout. I don't think it's a stat.
I'd have to go.
I think it's a cutout placement. I don't think it's a stat.
Yeah. Well, honestly, that would be very unusual for John at that time. I mean, or really anytime. But that would be.
It says panel 5 is an original art paste up.
Okay.
It's just
not a stat
from the back, which is fine by me.
Yeah.
Right. Original art paste over.
It's a paste over. Yeah.
Right.
All right.
Yeah. I can see. Well, now that I'm on Heritage's site, I can actually see. You can see that it was trimmed and everything. You can't see it as well here, I guess. Oh, I guess you can. All right.
That's there. Moving along.
Hey, do you recognize this character? This one went for $26,400 as well. Todd McFarlane, Amazing Spider-Man 322, 1989.
That feels pretty right on.
I think that's right on. I would have pegged it at 25 plus, and that's about right.
Have to agree that this is the market we're in. Oof.
Right on is a bargain at Heritage these days.
Yeah, no, it is.
That's why it's important to open Smeritage 2.0.
Yeah. You can see there's a teeny weeny bit of fading in background stuff you notice on there, but I mean, thank goodness it's not on the main characters.
The signature's fading.
Spidey's right eye, he did do a little bit of mark.
You know what's nice on the pages from ASM, I don't know, 315 or 316, but the issue where he battles Venom in the meat factory. Yeah. Some of the meat is colored with that fading ink, and it gives it a real funky, creepy look. It's one of the few times where fading ink actually enhances the page, in my opinion.
Yeah, I can see what you're saying, like up here.
Like the rafters and stuff. You could tell he used a regular ink marker. Yeah. Probably for ruling, he just used that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, yeah. But still, it's still a good page.
It's another Sikorsky, 26-4. So you probably would have rather had this one than the fight scene, right?
Will?
Nah, I mean, I believe, and I haven't read this story in a while, but I believe this may be outside of the cover or the page one splash, the very first time the crime syndicate appears as a group. So that may be what pushed this page up, and it sort of gives the history of Earth 3 and sort of explains why it's different from Earth 1 and Earth 2. But I mean, this was heavy to me. I mean, the splash is $50,000 and an interior page is 26, and privately several of these pages sold over the past year for quite a bit less, and they were nice battle pages from this issue. I mean, really nice pages. So feels heavy to me.
I would agree with that. I love the other two by far more than this one.
Well, yeah, there's splashes. Is page one and interior, but yeah.
All right.
A lot of people were shocked at the price on this. It actually did not surprise me that much. I mean, it went a little higher than I would have, but not much.
Well, yeah, this is the cover to the catalog. To me, that's why it got an extra bonus.
Well, there were like a couple of guys that talked to me about it before the auction, and I knew they were going heavy on it, so I knew this one was gonna
There were 2 or 3 people that wanted this. They just, I don't know if it evoked a nostalgic memory or what have you, but yeah.
For me, this was one of the first 25-cent comics I ever had as a back issue as a kid. That's why I thought it was cool. But it is, earth, fire and water, and it's pretty good images.
What did this do, Bill? 26K, something like that.
26.4.
I feel that's a pretty strong
Hey,
price.
Bill, can you put up the last comment? I mean, that sort of reminds me of 2020. It's people that have are doing well, and people that don't have are hurting. And yeah, I mean, a lot of artists did not see the fruits of their labor that we're paying so much for nowadays, and it is a shame.
And Wally Wood, basically died for his art. I mean, when you look at the amount of effort that he put into his early pages, I mean, that guy was so overworked for the wage that he was getting, and I mean, one of the true masters of our time, and certainly never got compensated the way he should have been.
And sadly, there was someone that worked in his studio that I don't know if he was gifted, but he had a number of Wally's pieces, prelims to finished published pieces, and unfortunately, the story goes that a lot of it got destroyed in a fire in the last few years. That's it's really sad. Some couple pretty major Marvel pieces.
Yeah.
Yep. But if anybody missed, this was Ron Wilson and Frank Giacoya. I don't know if I mentioned that when we pulled it up.
And Ron's another guy. I bump into him at shows. I've spoken to him even at some smaller shows, and he did not get the benefit of. I mean, he sold so much of his art so early on.
Art Adams, Al Williamson, classic X-Men 113 cover, sold for 24.
Which
I
feels
thought you were going to keep going with 26,400, Bill. I thought everything from here on out was 26,400.
It seemed like it.
Given what the content here, you always want Phoenix, and that feels like the number, for this piece. It feels pretty right on to me.
Actually, I'd almost say it feels like slightly light compared to, comparatively to what things are doing in this auction.
See, the classic X-Men are reprint books. See, I thought it went high, but let's see, 3 different perspectives.
It's Art Adams.
Yeah, but it isn't like
Art Adams, X-Men,
20 by 34. It's still a 10 by 15. I didn't expect it to go that high, but great image.
Neal Adams, Tom Palmer, Avengers 93 page, also sold for 24.
If you go on CAF, you'll know who bought this one. I thought this was a great buy by who bought it. This went for how much again, Bill?
It went for 24. I mean, I think.
Listen, I've sold pages from the later books in the 15, 16 range. This is from The Key Book, number 93 and a half splash. I thought this would go a lot higher than what it did.
Yeah, well, there was a similar page it sold maybe 2 years ago that had Thing battling Goliath.
Oh, from 93?
I believe it was from 93. That artistically I actually like a little more than this one, but I mean this is very strong.
I thought this was a good buy for who got it. He just posted on CAF of the buyer collector.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is a good buy too. It's actually
great page.
Oh,
one of the pieces that I
get that kind of battle, with a half splash. Torch, it's such an awesome half splash. You don't even notice the Torch and Iron Man even on it.
You're right.
How great it is.
You're right.
It's awesome.
No, you're right.
It's awesome.
This makes me want to go back and see if I can still pick up the Thing Goliath page because I thought you were going to say this makes me want to go back and bid on this one again.
That's what I thought he was going to say too.
Not too late for that.
Page. I was pegging it. I might have even been the underbidder on it. I don't even know. But I thought it was a good purchase.
Yeah, I agree.
It was very early in the auction on Platinum Day, I believe.
I was going to say it was, and there was a lot of action on it at the end. I mean, initially it looked like it was going to go for like $8,000, and then all of a sudden, there was 2 or 3 bidders clearly got involved and pushed it up to
that's a great
to 24,000. Yeah, I was looking at it thinking, why isn't it going higher? And then finally, it moved.
Who's the character at the top that was on that?
Oh, because we're gonna skip over that next
Captain
one.
Marvel, right? That's Captain Marvel.
That was
That's-
Captain Marvel, right?
Yeah.
God, those goggles just threw me off for a little bit. But cool. Go ahead. Yeah. Yeah, we'll skip it.
Yep, John Romita Jr. Action Comics 1021 cover. Oh, and complete 23-page story. Yep, yep.
The whole book. I remember. I said he didn't do that much Superman for DC. Only a few books, I think. Right, Glenn?
No, I think he did. I think he did like a bunch of books. It's, you know, at least 10, maybe more.
Right, but I'm thinking he didn't do like 20. Is what I'm saying.
It's like Superman and the Teen Titans. It looks like.
Yeah, I don't really know if this is a good deal or not. I didn't really like add up the pages or focus on this one first.
Honestly, I thought I'd be interested in this, but I didn't think the story was that strong. So, you know, I wouldn't go for like around 20, Bill.
22,800.
Yeah.
For the cover and the complete story.
Right.
Yeah, I mean that's probably about right. I mean, I don't read this DC, so I don't know, but
right. Very cool.
Okay, so this went for $23,000. Is that right, Bill?
Just about 22.8.
So this was the other piece that I was thinking was like, you know, kind of a deal for the for the auction. I mean, I thought this would do like at least 25, maybe 28, and you know, I mean, it's a great Daredevil piece. It's, you know, so it's the other piece that I thought about bidding on.
You know what I think the thing is with Daredevil is that, you know, you have that early run with Wally Wood, and then you have the later run with Miller. And I think they are just such high watermarks that, you know, there's a lot of good stuff in between. There's a lot of good Conan stories. But I think sometimes these pieces sort of get overshadowed by the two bookends of Wood and Miller. And even Mazzuchelli now. So
no, it's true. But I mean, you've got Severin. She does a great job with Daredevil,
yeah.
and then Trimpe's inks are really nice here.
No argument. I completely agree. I'm just saying I think that's why sometimes these Daredevil covers underperform, because there was another Daredevil cover, if I'm not mistaken, an annual in another auction, and I think we both were surprised that went pretty light. It was a fresh piece, and it should have done better.
Well, I think you might be right, Will.
Yeah, for what it's worth, it was a no-name villain. I mean, that's the only drawback, but artistically, I think it was a great cover.
Death March is a no-name villain?
Is that his name? He looks like the Joker off of the playing cards. I don't know. A character. I think it's a Mexican character, isn't it? The guy?
I don't know.
He stole the Falcon's bird.
Death March.
I don't know if that's the guy's name or not.
That might not be the guy's name.
I think he's like
the
a Mexican.
Story we had to call Death March. The story's Death March.
Right. Yeah, he's a Mexican bandito, I think. Yeah.
But see, if this were a Miller or a Wood story, you know, we'd probably know it. That's kind of my point. It just kind of gets lost.
Yeah, it's a strange period.
Yeah.
But these are good covers.
But artistically,
no, the covers are good. The covers are good.
I think they're going to go up in value. I think those are going to be seen as bargains in the future.
Especially if they bring old Matt Murdock into the Spideyverse or the MCU or whatever.
Oh yeah, that's something. You're right.
Right. I think they are.
Yeah. This was a cool piece. I was moderately interested in it, and it started slow, but then sold really high. What did this sell for, Bill?
20,400.
Yeah. I mean, this was like at auction. It like stopped like at 6 or 7, and then just went zoom.
Well, the buyer of this thought it was quite the bargain. Let me tell you. I think you're going to see it again at a much higher price.
From what year?
62.
Yeah.
This is a recreated. It's published, but Win Mortimer. This is a calendar piece. Every month of those is a calendar, and it was Win Mortimer, and then Moldoff recreated it and redrew it for a book in 62.
That's pretty cool.
But it's all Moldoff.
The latest comment, Bill, made me chuckle, but I have my fill of dependence.
Me too. It doesn't matter how little you eat or how much dog poop you could pick up.
You know, the truth is, if we were talking 52, that's my cutoff. I would have at 52.
I'm 52.
Oh, Bill, you want to clean up dog poop? Come over.
I think now. Did I say I think 51?
Glenn, I've had you over to the house, man. I'm not 51 yet, so I'm first in line here. Damn it.
You are. I agree.
See, everybody on Facebook can't see that comment, so I'll throw it for just for a second there. There you go. Washing dishes would be good. That's like my least favorite thing to do.
Run errands, pick up the
right. So this is a Bill Sienkiewicz Batman and Joker illustration, and it sold for $20,400. I don't know if this was published or not. I think it might.
It's a prelim. I didn't even know this till afterwards. It's a prelim to a published piece, only because I know the seller of it. He was ecstatic at what it did. So,
what did it do again? I'm sorry.
$20,000.
$20,000.
It's a prelim to a published piece.
Wow.
Yeah. So
right.
I'm pretty happy.
The Joker looks pretty happy, and I'm not sure why, and I don't want to know why.
It feels like a pretty solid price for that piece.
Yeah, definitely.
It feels like a very solid. Yeah.
But I didn't know it was to a published piece. Yeah, this one was shocking, but
yeah, this is surprising.
This is a small art page too, right? From issue 158.
Yeah, I mean, this felt like a $10,000 page to me, and did like what 19?
19.2.
Yeah, wow. But
no, I don't know.
Got great images, just great images.
I guess that's what sold today, and you've got the really good close up there of his face.
Did they use like Zipatone in that fourth panel? They must have, yeah.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, no, I was surprised at that one.
That's a record price for a small art page, I believe.
I think
not
so.
Actus or Surfer, of course.
Yeah.
But a great page. Yeah.
And this one in Magnolia Captain America, which is pretty unusual. Like I thought would do like, maybe 12, 15 to the right guy, but
12, 15 was my number as well. What did it sell for, like 18 to 19?
Yeah,
19 too. Yeah. I mean, I like this era of Mike's work, honestly. So, I mean, I still think that it sold for more than I was expecting as well. But yeah, I've always kind of liked this period. I don't know why he did a lot of different covers for Marvel during this period.
Like just like pre-Hellboy or right when Hellboy was just starting out and stuff.
Yeah, this is 91.
Yeah. No, there's not that much stuff out of that out there. So.
And this was a Dave Gibbons slipcase artwork, sold for $18,000, and I think it was on the smallish side. So,
yeah, it was 9x9. I had no thoughts. I know it was Rorschach, but
I mean, most journals are just 1 year. When you've got a journal that's like 84 and 85, it's confusing.
Or it could have meant 84 to 85.
But you're just too analytical, Mike.
Well, that was Glenn that said that. Will,
you're back.
We thought you had enough of us.
You know, I don't know what it is. I have to get together with Bill, but StreamYard does not like me because I'm not having any other internet troubles.
That's weird. So,
are you Wi-Fi? Are you Wi-Fi?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's anybody that I usually have problems with is people on Wi-Fi. I don't know if you can ever get yourself like a wired connection. It'll always be better, but
I think that's what we're going to have to go with next time. Yeah.
I mean, I have Wi-Fi, and I tend to not have problems, but I don't know.
Some weeks it's seamless for me, and then other weeks it's like this. I'm just spinning.
Yeah. What did this one do? What did this one do?
This was a shocker to me. This one went for $18,000, and honestly, if you had tried to sell me this piece a month ago for $8,000, I probably would have said no. So, I mean,
I bet you would have bought it.
I love the title. I love the title. So.
I think you would have bought it for $8.
Maybe. Well, I thought this was going to do 8 to 10. So I don't know. I don't know that I would have paid 8 for it.
I felt it was worth 10. I thought it would go for around 10, and it went for 18. So that's almost double.
This sold, if I'm not mistaken, this sold at, well, it wouldn't have been this year, but last year's Baltimore Con. This was walking around. and I heard it was in the room. I tried to get it. I was a little late. Somebody that was there set up, I believe, got it. But unless I'm confusing this with a page, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. This was a high price, but I would think 10 plus.
It was a great image.
Not 18.
McLaughlin inked it well. I thought it was inked very, very well. So.
Well, I mean, this has got to be a record splash.
Oh yeah.
Sale for Sal B. Captain America. I mean,
maybe somebody's looking at what the Sal covers are going for and thinking
maybe.
like, well,
yeah, well, more than one person, but yeah, I mean, it makes you think about the Sal Buscema stuff you have in inventory.
Absolutely,
insane piece. This I thought was a good piece. What was that, Bill?
This was expensive. I thought this was an overperformer too. This one went for $18,000, and I thought, again, probably 12 to 15.
Well, it has both. It does have Shield, Nick Fury, and Cap. I thought 15 to 17 it was worth. So, okay. And it's sold for 17, Bill.
It's sold for 18.
18.
Honestly, what some Twice Up Kirby pages are doing, I honestly thought this might have done 20.
Yeah. I thought it was old. I sold a pretty good similar type page for 17.5 last month, so I thought this would go around the same price, and it did. So,
and it's got that little miniature brain. I mean, you can't argue with the LMD brain, you know.
And look at Gap, just those eyes. Wow.
Well, the brain is helping me rethink the whole equation here.
Yeah, the mini brain. It's like back then. What do you call? What am I thinking of? You know, they thought back then. What are those? Why am I drawing?
That mini brain isn't helping Mike. Obviously.
Our little Hoover things. Little Hoover things. Everybody has a remote control. What are those called?
Drone?
The drone, yeah, it's a mini drone. I mean, yeah, come on, that adds a little bit.
Bill, don't put up the latest comment. Mike will never stop.
I love that, Rich.
Bill, do you want to put up the Chris's comment?
Really be that?
Whose comment? I'm sorry.
Chris Snarrick's comment.
Rich Danny's first post.
No. So, I mean, we were talking a little bit about this before, but yeah, I think there are new buyers. I don't know that they're making questionable buys, but I think what's happening is if there are pieces that you want at auction and they're going higher than you anticipated, then, if you really want to land the piece, you have no recourse for them to bid. So, I mean, yeah, I think that's part of it. I don't know so much that I would categorize it as ignorance, just as people chasing things that they want and that are in demand at the moment.
One of a kind.
Go ahead, Bill. Will.
No, go ahead, Mike.
I was just gonna say, hey, listen, we could come back to this episode in a year and a half. We'll all be laughing at all the prices we said were too high. I mean, that's conceivably possible too. A year and a half.
Yeah, I mean, one of a kind is a motivator, and whether it's at an auction or you're at a convention, I remember chasing Romita pages and hearing that there was a guy who was buying a lot of them up, and I had to pay 50 to 100% over what was thought to be market if I wanted to get a Romita page, and not even a particularly good one. So I mean, it's market conditions sometimes. It makes.
Were you actually into Romita? I didn't think you ever were into Romita, other than covers, maybe.
Mike.
I didn't think you were.
No, Mike, you're the only one into Romita.
Mike, I've probably traded you 50 ASM pages over the years for covers.
Yeah, maybe about 7.
Okay.
You traded me a few, but you got Romita in return.
In most cases, yes, and sometimes Junior.
Yes.
Yeah. Bill, what did this do? 18,000, something like that?
18,000 on this Al Milgram Defenders 101 cover.
So that's a lot to pay for a Defenders cover, but it's a great surfer, and people pay up for surfer.
Surfer is why that sold so high.
People pay up without disclosing names. I can say that a dealer bought this. Now I don't know if he plans to keep it or sell it, but if he sells it, it's going to be priced higher. And
of course,
I guess we shall see.
Yep. broke up a complete Romita issue.
Bam, bam. You broke up a Romita issue?
Yeah, Albert told me to break it up. You know, we're a couple now, so Berkey, Albert Moy,
Oh my goodness.
Couple.
yeah, I had to split up an issue recently. Yeah.
Did you check this out with Albert that it was okay with him to call
Mike,
yourself Bam Bam and be a couple?
The next time we're all at a show, when shows open up again, please no PDA. I mean, please.
No? Well, we would say if you hear Bam Bam, you'll know what it means, right?
Oh my goodness.
I'll never forget.
Pebbles.
Never forget.
And I got to go back and watch this episode.
My kids sometimes watch this episode. I mean, you need to censor it.
I just want everybody to know that I love Albert Moy. Okay, continue.
Frank Miller, Klaus Janson, Daredevil 183 splash.
Is this the image of Mike proposing to Albert?
Oh, wait.
No.
Well, you know what? She does have a little bit of Asian look to her. I mean,
yeah.
All right, moving on.
Yeah.
I apologize. I sent us right back in the wrong direction. Sorry.
Yes.
You guys, you're such kidders.
All right.
Yes,
so,
I will be at the New Jersey Art Show next month. Set up.
I do not think I'm going to make the journey, but
I will not be, but you can always buy from my website 24/7. Right.
I know Anthony's going to be there.
Look at Berkey poaching sales while we're set up in New Jersey. Poacher.
I think before I jump on a plane to New York, I'm going to want the vaccine. So.
Yeah. I'm not going to COVID Jersey. Yeah.
Not
we're
yet.
We're doing much better, thank you.
What did this sell for, Bill?
18,000.
18,000.
Miller never surprises me, so
yeah. I mean, it's hard to.
I mean, that does seem about right. I mean, we see panel pages go for more. I mean, he's in costume, but
right.
Yeah. It's a tender moment.
And it's an end page too. So like we've talked about today already, you get more art on an end page than you do on a title page.
Right.
There are guys that collect there's plenty of collectors that collect end pages.
Yeah, and Jason's telling us, Glenn, that Ohio and Cali are worse.
Yeah,
thank you, Jason.
But not if you get on. But not if you get on a plane. I mean, if you get on a plane, then then you're like you're getting the East Coast and the West Coast germs at the same time.
Yeah, you don't. Well, the thing is, you don't want us going there at the end of the day.
No, I'm not suggesting you guys should come here.
Although what's funny? What's funny is right now, probably hotel and plane travel are actually safer than one would think. I have not partaken, but I know people that have, and they feel pretty comfortable.
That could be true.
There's
this
more.
Was the Marshall Rogers?
18,000 as well.
I mean that seems like. Well, yeah. What is the size, Bill?
Let's see.
I think it's real big, actually.
It was done in '81, and it was 20 by 24.
Oh wow! Now was it originally colored, or that was like a Steve Olaf special or something?
No, I think it's for a portfolio play, right?
It was a portfolio piece.
Yeah. I think it's planned.
I thought they were black and white.
I cannot tell you. It does not say whether or not it was colored before or after.
Either way, it does not seem unreasonable to me.
No, it doesn't.
That is a great Black Panther splash with him wearing a cape.
Right.
Oh.
You sure it's not the Prowler under there, Mike?
I don't. That's what I'm saying. I could see the ears, so now I know it's not. The Prowler.
Okay.
Inside joke from earlier in the night.
Yeah, you have to watch the whole show to get that joke. John Romita Jr., Mighty World of Marvel, 199. This is 18,000 as well. This is Marvel UK.
Whew.
Yeah.
Well,
supposedly this is John Romita Jr.'s first ever piece of art.
Oh, really?
Marvel.
I thought ASM 16 was his first job.
Well, this was supposedly done before ASM 16.
Huh.
I mean, that's his first Marvel American, but they said he did work for the British first. When they first hired him, he did some of the British stuff first. You got a great Man Mountain Marco Slash with Wolverine, you know. I mean,
given the pedigree and the content.
Yeah, it's the content. I mean, I thought this was a What If 31 page that I just didn't remember from the story, and that
really?
That's
the British. It's the British. It's the British doing the second part to 181.
But you know what's funny? I mean, it has to be early JR Jr. because I see like the composition, the body layout does look like JR Jr. But the detail does not particularly look like him. But if it's that early, then
he's still developing. Literally his first stuff, and it's the Hulk 181 second half of the. Remember, they did half books in each of their issues.
Oh,
I know, it looks funky to me, but it's from early Wolverine. I was shocked at the price, but early JR, and it's reprinting Hulk 181. So somebody.
Yeah, it sounds expensive, but it feels like you can justify it, I guess. If you put all the elements into the equation, you put them all in the blender and turn it on.
That's a lot of explaining, Lucy.
And you got the Gibbon there with his costume off. Oh wait, that's the Hulk. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Hey, Larry did mention that the Marshall Rogers piece was in color, originally, or the portfolio.
One of these episodes, we're going to have a no Spidey zone. Just one episode.
If only that were possible.
another Strange Tales 101 page.
You have to talk about them every episode. Okay, go ahead.
Strange Tales 101 sold for $17,400. Kirby Airs, of course.
Right.
I've been surprised at all these, but it is the first issue of his series.
Yeah, it's a good page.
It's a very good page.
Maybe like 15, 17 doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
And it's the end.
Last issue.
The whole issue was broken up. Anybody know how many pages were in this issue? I don't remember. Was it like a 13-page?
Oh, right there. That's the last page. That 13, say it, Bill, in the lower left corner?
13.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I said, remember, one guy bought the whole book and split it up. He did extremely well on it. I know that for sure. Yeah. Very strong.
Now, this was a strong page.
Jim Lee, Wildcats. This is went for $16,800.
This is the most expensive Wildcats page ever.
Wow, I would say so.
Is there something significant about this particular?
I don't know.
Is it issue 1 of something?
What issue?
Anyone listening out there care to?
I don't know.
Scott Williams was pretty stunned at this result. I
remember.
I post somewhere.
It says number 6, issue 6, page 10.
I mean, I don't. It's hard to understand. It's an anomaly.
I don't get it either. How much again, Bill?
16.
Wow.
16.8. Yeah.
Okay.
Are you sure 16.8 was it? Because I thought it was. I thought it was less.
No, it's 16.8.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I think there was more than one, Glenn.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just trying to read through their description to see if there's anything about the story, but I don't really see anything that stands out.
Okay.
Oh, Rich Stanley worked on the cartoon.
This is Joe Mad, Deadpool, Circle, Circle Chase #1. Yeah, sold for $16,800 as well.
By whom again?
It feels heavy because weren't there like several pages from this issue in there?
Yeah, there was like 3 in a row.
What did the double spread go for in the last auction? There was like a double spread from I think from this issue or Joe Mad.
Yeah, what was that? I'd have to go back and look. I'm not sure. Whatever it was more like double this price, but I don't remember if it was this exact issue though.
Okay.
So,
well,
yeah.
I mean, I'll just say it again. The 90s stuff is and Deadpool.
Yeah.
Hot. It's
they already said Deadpool 3 coming out soon, and I think all those movies are great. So certainly helping the comic art, no doubt.
It's Wayne Boring Sunday, sold for $16,800 as well.
Yeah, I was trying for this. I'm just saying, over the years, I mean, all these have sold in like the $4,000 to $6,500 range, and I was surprised at the price on this one.
again, I think it's like, I mean, I was surprised at the price, the 72,000 on the action page, and this feels like, double also,
Yeah, I agree. This sold for a lot more than I expected. But they're finally starting to get love. Golden Age stuff is starting to get some love.
Well, it's interesting.
Now, where have I heard that phrase with Golden Age?
Show some love for the Golden Age.
Yes. Michael Finn has got to be happy if he's out there. Yeah.
Well, maybe not, because his purchasing power has been cut in half.
Unless he's on the bottom, who knows?
Right.
Yeah.
It's a Neal Adams portfolio sketch, 15,600.
Wow.
I love that was a healthy price again, but it's a beautiful piece.
It is beautiful, but it feels like $10,000 piece. But
Well, see, everything's 50% more than you're thinking about. This is Clayton Crane. Very hot right now, obviously. Venom 29.
Real hot. Yeah.
$15,000 on this one.
Wow.
You put up Brian's comment, Bill, the second one up, going back to the Jim Lee.
I mean, what else Prime Era can you get for cheap? That's probably true.
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess that's true, except that page at 16,000 doesn't feel cheap at all.
Right.
Relatively.
The Madura, you mean? Yeah.
What's that?
The Madura you're talking about?
No, the Jim Lee Wildcat page that was 16,000.
I can't believe that one. I'd save my money and wait up for an X-Men and just pay a little bit more and wait for an X-Men.
Yeah.
But
not if they're going for 112 or.
Well, not all pages. Yeah, just wait.
Right. Well, I get Brian. You compare it to the X-Men, but I mean, honestly, like a page like that, I would have thought was like $5,000. 16 is like a shocker.
7 or 8, but 16 feels really heavy.
Well, maybe again, it could be back to characters on the page somebody really wanted. These 3 characters, and that was the one they chose to go after.
Yeah.
I mean,
but more than one person felt that way.
Don't forget, there was an underbidder there too, so there was 2 people there.
2 people really wanted it. Yeah. Well.
I mean, people really wanted it, and to the extent, like, it's one thing to say, like, okay, I want that page, and if I think it's worth $5,000 or $6,000, I'm willing to go to 8. But to say
16.
Twice that I'm going to go to 16 is a surprise.
That's amazing. They both wanted it. Yeah. Maybe it's character driven. I'm thinking of the Deadpool again. Yeah, the Wildcats. I don't get that. So, but hey, it's one of a kind. Like Heritage says, the more you bid, the more it's worth.
Is that what they say?
That's what Schmeridage.
Schmeridage 2.0.
Yeah. Ed Hannigan, Tom Palmer, Doctor Strange #20 cover went for 14.4.
There's a caveat on this. There was a lot of stats on this that were.
I was going to say, isn't there elements of stats?
There's 3 different boards that this got put together as. We're looking at the stats right here. So I was interested in it until I read the description on it, and I said I held back, but I still thought it sold better than I expected.
Yeah, no, I feel like this benefited from the Doctor Strange, like raise all boats factor here.
Right.
It's a good looking. It's a good looking image, and I assume the main 2 characters are original. It's just the background stuff is stat.
They're just on a different board themselves separately.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. Oh, that's not that unusual.
Right. Uh-huh.
Well,
but it was a nice image.
Yeah,
it is.
But I would have liked it not in 3 separate boards. I liked it on 1. That's the only thing that made me think.
It's 1/5 the price of a very nice Brunner Doctor Strange cover. So when you look at it that way,
and cheaper than a Jim Lee Wildcats.
Now that's something you should trademark right there.
Right.
And Christopher Daly asks, there could be any number of underbidders on these sorts of things. It isn't always just 2 people. It could be.
Right.
I think when something goes extremely high, it's only 2 people. So.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree with you, Mike. I think when stuff really overperforms, generally speaking, it's two guys duking it out.
We're just going dueling head to head, totally. Yeah,
It happens.
Sure. That's okay.
Yeah, this is another Surfer graphic novel page. Yep, Kurt.
Half the price of the Surfer page.
Yeah, this performed about like where you would expect it to perform.
Yeah, Galactus always gets a bump. Kirby Galactus always gets a bump.
But what was the final price?
14.4.
Oh, 14.
It's about right. I mean, in this day and age, I would agree with that. It's probably one of the weakest pages from the book, but it's Galactus.
Well, again, this is a page you will probably see again, gentlemen.
Yes, you will.
I didn't buy it, but I'm just saying.
I didn't buy it either, but yeah, the dealer that bought it will probably put it out eventually.
Mm-hmm.
Good looking page, though. Good looking Galactus shots.
Another Doctor Strange. Artist is Chris Warner. This one sold for 14.4 as well.
This surprised me. This was strong.
That was a strong praise.
Yeah.
I mean, is it because
Cloak and Dagger fans out there? But
yeah, I was gonna say, is it Cloak is giving it sort of a bump?
That degree, but
I don't know. But I mean, it feels like if you want a Doctor Strange cover at this point, like, you know, certainly if you want to buy it at Heritage, you're going to pay up.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, I have a Doctor Strange cover on my website that you can get for a lot less.
By whom?
You know, I'm not gonna turn this into a sales marketing show, but
No,
I'm just saying
who the artist is. You don't have to say the issue.
It's a Jeff Escherwood cover.
Oh, I should.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I sure would go for about $3 to $5 grand, so that's about right.
The Doctor Strange covers have definitely taken a bump.
No, they have with these auctions. They have.
So,
Aparo, what this go?
13.8.
13.8. I think that's about right.
That's the range.
Yeah.
Aparo, Batman related covers. Yeah.
Nice cover.
Yeah, I like that.
I mean, so much apparel has come out. We saw some really big prices on apparel, and then there were many things selling privately while things were selling at auction that were going much lower, and in some cases were better examples. So it's supply and demand. There was a lot of apparel came out all at once, but the prices are still holding, you know, fairly strong.
Yep. Covers are always solid. Oh, there's a double spread.
There's a double page.
Yeah.
What does that do?
This is 13.2.
Yeah, there you go.
So that did less than the page.
Yeah.
Is this later in the run or something, or?
This is Circle Chase 2. The other one was Circle Chase 1. So the next issue.
Okay.
Ooh. Wow.
I think the other one had a better gag though. Something with fingers and sausages, and yeah.
I mean, maybe, but that's a great image.
Yeah, that's a great image. Yeah, I like it.
You would think this would go for more, definitely. This is a beautiful piece. I bought this several years ago, and I thought it was a gorgeous piece. I gave it up in a trade for a cover I wanted back. But I think the seller did, you know, reasonably well. Definitely got more than what he got it out of me for. No, no, I want, you know, you want someone to do well.
How long?
I was going to bid on this, but it just went slightly higher than I anticipated it would, so I let it go.
I think I traded it maybe, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, between 7 and 8, somewhere in that range.
Okay.
Well, he could have made a profit, or else he'd be coming after you.
Well, let's hope not.
I'm just teasing with you. Pollard, Sinat. I mean, Sinat makes everybody look great.
This is a good looking piece. I actually picked this up at a show from another dealer that just didn't have very high regard for it. And
awesome.
Yeah.
I love the black backgrounds. It's an awesome piece.
Yeah, no, and it's a little bigger than standard, so it pops.
Yeah. I think it's like 17 by 17, isn't it? Something like that.
Something like that. I don't remember exactly, but something like that.
It's a good piece.
And then Buckler Giacoya Action Comics cover sold for 13.2 as well.
I know. I said, you know, the days of these like I used to own this cover. I mean, I'd say 4 to 5 years ago, this would have been $4,000.
Right. What did you sell this for?
These now are just jumping.
I was surprised. I was surprised at this result because to me this was like an $8,000 cover.
Yeah, well, I agree.
You're right. 4 or 5 years ago, you'd probably have trouble moving this.
Right. This was $4,000 4 years ago, but the prices have jumped on these.
Yeah. Well, it's
so what do you think the price of this is today, Mike? Like, where do you think this is? What do you think?
I personally was guessing this would sell for 8 to 9. I was guessing.
Okay.
What did it sell for? 16?
13.2.
Oh, 13.2. Okay. Yeah.
Strong.
So like 50% overperform.
Yeah.
I would agree, Mike. I would have, 85, 90. Yeah. I wouldn't cross 10 on this.
No, 8 to 9 was what I thought I was going to sell for, and I was surprised at the sale price.
Right.
But again,
But it is serious matter for Superman. So many of his covers are a little goofy, so maybe somebody wanted a more serious,
Sure. Agree. What ifs are all different. What this sell for, like 12-ish? 13?
Same thing, 13.2.
Yeah.
I mean, the animated's coming out soon on Disney, so.
Yeah, this is all content. Yeah. This is all content. A great Avengers cover.
Odin doesn't look too happy though.
So, Bill, we should think about wrapping things up. We're hitting the 2-hour mark here, and
Glenn, you took the words out of my mouth.
I didn't even realize that. Yeah, let's see.
Yeah, I don't think I had any other pieces that.
Is that the end of it?
No. I mean, I had a few others, just because I didn't know how fast we were going to go through things.
We could do something real quick, just for 10 seconds each, if you want to just do another minute.
Well, there was one I was just curious myself, so I'll show it.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I know a lot of people talked about this Watchmen piece. Everybody thought it went for really high, but I mean,
these used to be really inexpensive. You could get these like really pretty cheap. What was
this one? See, now I scrolled past where we were at, so now I don't have the price.
I think it's right around 5 figures, 10, 11, 12.
That's what I was thinking, but yeah, sorry, I zipped right by it when we were going to jump ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, we have to have our cheap show, but don't worry, we can't put it on the CGC board if we do that, because otherwise we'll get kicked off again. You want to put up Larry? Can you put up Larry's comment, Bill?
Oh, where was that?
Very last one.
Larry's excited to see Crazy Mikey go again.
I got us kicked off of the CGC boards. My good pal Voodoo, got us booted off the boards. I heard.
Yeah.
Mike, you have quite a nap.
Yeah, you make friends wherever you go, Mike.
I've gotten like 10 private emails asking like, which one were you holding up? The third one you were holding up? I'm interested.
He's fun in a long car ride.
I do think we should all have a cheap episode. It'll help, just for the sales wise. If you want,
we'll just advertise it in the marketing section of the
episode once or twice a year or something. Sure. I thought this was cool. This was a
We'll be in the car with you, Mike, and we can see how crazy.
Yeah. Or a bus. We'll rent the bus and have a great time.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, we can end on this one, Mike. Tell us why this went for 10,200. Is that
the only thing I know? It's spectacular. What issue is it? I don't even remember.
46.
Yeah. That's just one of the few Mike Zeck issues. I was surprised at the sale. This was the last piece in the auction on Friday because I was just seeing what it would go for, and I was surprised. It sold for what again, Bill?
10,002.
I thought that was a healthy price for just.
Yeah.
He was a guest penciler on one issue of Spec. I personally was guessing it would go 6 to 75 maybe, but it went for over 10. So I was surprised at the sale.
It is a nice piece of art though, and it's
artistically
that Batman over the castle effect a little bit,
Yeah.
Even though it's obviously Spider-Man in the penitentiary, but.
And Patterson inked him. I think he's a pretty good inker. I mean, he's an underrated inker.
Yeah, Bruce Patterson. Oh.
Yeah, Bruce Patterson. I think he's a very underrated inker from that era. But that's about all I could think of for that. So.
Well, gentlemen, this was a good episode. Even with lots of.
I didn't even realize we went to 2 hours, man. Wow.
Lots of trademarkable slogans. I think we've got to consider. So. It's,
right. There's Smeritage and the domestic marriage to consider.
Oh.
Yeah, and I just want everybody to know that I really love.
All right, time to wrap up, everybody.
Albert Boy's a really good friend of mine. Yeah, we're really close. We're real close.
All right, gentlemen. So,
when is our next show, Bill? Or are we figuring that out?
Our next show is Tuesday, and I'm still working out the guests for that show. So I've got a few emails out. Hopefully, I'll hear back from somebody this evening. Maybe I already have, and I don't know it yet. But we will be on one way or another next Tuesday.
All right.
And I've got lots of other things lined up. And I actually I think you guys are going to really enjoy this one. I interviewed the guy who was the owner, creator of the New York Comic Arts Gallery. And it was in business from 76 to 79. So literally the same period that the studio was going on. And he had shows for Jeff Jones, Michael Kaluta, and Bernie Wrightson. And it's like nobody ever really knows a lot about this guy. And he sent me an email accidentally. And so I did a couple sets of interviews with him, and I kind of pulled it all together into essentially like a 1-hour documentary. And I got a lot of photos and stuff from different shows, and stuff people have never seen from Wrightson before. So, I mean, photos of him, not any art you haven't seen before. So I hope to debut that in the next week or so. But it was good because essentially he's like acting as a rep for these guys and the trials and tribulations that he went through. And only the ones. It was fun, and again, it's a quick view, since it's only down to about an hour. But the whole thing was, when I've watched it a couple times now, and it really came out good. It makes me want to do more shows like that. So look for that sometime in the next week. But again, all right, gentlemen, thanks again, and I will see you soon.
God bless America.
There you go.